Cass, welcome or welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be setting up my June bullet journal. I can't believe that it's summer already, blows my mind. And for this month, I decided on the theme Avatar the Last Airbender. Recently, I read The Rise of Kyoshi, which is a novel that's kind of a prequel to Avatar the Last Airbender, and it absolutely sparked my inspiration for this theme. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into planning.
You just sneezed and flew 10 feet in the air.
Really? It felt higher than that. You're an airbender.
Sure am. Giant light beams, flying bison, airbenders. I think I got midnight sun madness. I'm going home to where stuff makes sense.
Hello. Apologies for the late upload. Life has been a little bit crazy, so I moved out. I've officially been living in my new apartment for a month now, and it's been great. It's just been a whole process to get settled and to find a new routine of how I move around and do stuff in life. And so that's been a little bit of an adjustment. And then on top of that, I also just got a brand new job that I've been training, and it's very exhausting to try to learn and absorb all this information, as well as get used to living on my own, as well as trying to keep up with YouTube uploads, which is why I was a little bit absent in May, but I'm hoping that in June my uploading schedule will go back to normal, which is the 2 videos a week. I don't know what days, I probably will change them, but enough about that, and let's talk about my June bullet journal, which is why you guys are here. So for this month, I chose to do Avatar the Last Airbender, and I've actually done this theme before, back all the way in March 2020, I do believe. And I was hesitant to do it again simply because I've done the theme before, and I try to come up with new themes to do, that way my journals don't get too repetitive. However, my style has changed so much compared to how my journal used to look. So even though I've done Avatar the Last Airbender as a bullet journal theme, the spreads I did, the way I did the spreads, and my art style is completely different. Now, this cover page is inspired by Crisp Ink LA, this post right here. I saw this and immediately wanted this tattoo, and then wasn't sure if I actually wanted that tattoo, and instead projected that want and desire for a tattoo into my June cover page. So right now, the temptation to get the tattoo has been put aside, but we will see in the future if I end up getting one of these or all of them, because they are just stunning. On the left here, you can see me working on the Avatar map. Now, this wasn't a full page thing. In fact, it only took up about half a page, and then I simply centered it. Now, I wasn't sure what the color palette of this theme was going to be. I wanted to try to mix and use all the different colors that would coincide with the elements. So for air, I would have used yellow. For water, I would have used blue. For earth, green. And for fire, red or orange. But I couldn't find a tone and a hue for all of them that I found aesthetically pleasing. So instead, I stuck to using brown, green, yellow, and tan. And I really like the way that it turned out. I'm liking these muted color palettes. And if you know me, you know that I'm terrible with colors. And so this might not seem like the most revolutionary color palette, but I'd say it's progress and a step in the right direction. This map definitely took a lot less time than my full-size maps, and I freehanded quite a bit of it just because I wasn't going for an exact replica. I just wanted a cute little map and simply left it at that. Now right here, I'm coloring in each nation a different color. So for Earth, it is green. For air, I used the yellow. For the Fire Nation, I used tan, and for the Water Nation, I used a darker brown. I also included washi tape, which you saw me put on the cover page, and then I put some washi tape on this left page as well. And it's just a simple brown and tan with a white grid, and I have been obsessed with those two washi tapes in particular. If you go back, I think since March, I've been using March or April, I think I've been using that washi tape because I just love it so much. It's such an basic design on the washi tape, but it adds so much. Now, for my calendar page, I'm sticking with the same experimental layout as I did last month. I enjoyed using it, and I'm gonna stick with it again this month and see if it continues to work for me. Since I'm a little bit busier, I'm not quite sure how it's gonna work out, but we will see. It definitely is a lot easier to set up, especially because for this month, I didn't use a ruler for anything. I used my Tombow Fudenosuke brush pen. I used the hard tip because I wanted to give kind of a elegant brushstroke type feel to each of my lines, and I do believe I achieved that. Now, the quote that I'm lettering out right here says, "What? Everyone else went on a life-changing field trip with Zuko." Now, that quote is said by Toph, aka an absolute baddie, aka my favorite character since forever. I grew up watching this show and Pokemon in particular, and Toph was always my favorite. And whenever Netflix finally put Avatar onto it, I absolutely binged the series and just got so excited for Toph to show up. And I really need to rewatch the series because I haven't watched it since last year or the year before. 2 years ago now, actually. Geez, time is absolutely flying. And because I chose a Toph quote in the top left, I did the Earth Nation symbol, doing the same thing as I did before with the loose and sort of messy lines with the Tombow Fudenosuke, and then outlining it in the tan color, adding a little bit of leaves, and I'm outlining all the letters in tan actually, just because I liked the little bit of pop that it gave, and then filling in the rest of the blank space with some washi tape. Now, on the right hand side is going to be my to-do list and my mood tracker. So all these little symbols here, I drew 30 different symbols, which took quite a bit of time and was fairly tedious, but I'll color each of those in a different color depending on my mood. And then I did another Dutch door spread, which are my absolute favorite lately. I waited way too long to get on the Dutch door hype, but there I am just cutting the page, squiggling back and forth to create this little door. Now on the left, I just have a to-do list where it's kind of like a brain dump. I can just dump anything there. I gotta figure out something else to do just because I am finally back to using my Notion to brain dump and to plan my weeks. So my to-do list has been rather bare in my journal. Now on the reverse side of my to-do / mood tracker, I traced all the symbols yet again, but this time just for decoration, and then colored them all in. Then on the back side, I included my habit tracker, and this was just a graph that I'll just put a dot whenever I do my habits, which you'll see me create in just a second here, but I am still coloring in all the symbols. I chose to stick with the proper color for each of them. Unlike for my mood tracker, it'll be different colors depending on my mood, obviously. And then using the Avatar font yet again for all my habits, I have bullet journal, read, YouTube, work on my Etsy store, workout, brush teeth, facial care, my period, gotta love that, vitamins, and washing my hair. And then I just wrote habits at the very top, still sticking to the same font, which was very easy to do, especially with my hard tip Fudenosuke pen. It allowed for very nice and flexible, messy, handwritten looking lines, which was exactly what I was going for. Now on the right hand side, I'm creating my stats page, which includes movies and TV shows that I watch, YouTubers and certain YouTube videos that I might want to write down to remember, and then music that I listen to at each time. Again, sticking with the same font. And then on the right hand side, peeking out whenever the Dutch door is closed, I wrote "That's rough, buddy," which is an iconic Zuko quote. And I just I relate to that man on so many levels. Just Sokka being like, my first girlfriend turned into the moon. And it's just like, what the hell do you respond? What do you say to that? And Zuko just being like, that's rough, buddy. It's such a me thing to do. I'm really bad with handling other people's emotions and my own. And so I love the quote so much. I say it myself all the time, and I really enjoy just lettering it out, doing just a really small and simple little bit. And moving on to the last 2 pages, which is my finance tracker and my highlights page. Now my finance tracker, once again, going in, doing lines, but not using a ruler. I just really loved the look of it. I was pleasantly surprised, to say the least. Now, this is a very basic finance tracker. I just have 2 columns where I track each of my expenses, and then in the bottom left I have 5 different categories that I split out my remaining money essentially, and then I'm drawing the water nation symbol up on the top. I just included a different nation symbol on each page, starting with like the calendar being the Earth nations, and then obviously the previous page was the Fire nations. This one is the Water nation, and then my highlights will have the Air nations, just because I needed something to put on each of the pages. But I just wrote out finance tracker here using, again, the same font. By then I had it memorized on how all the letters were supposed to look. Threw in some washi tape because just look how much better, like automatically, that it looks once I added the washi tape. It just added the perfect amount of pizzazz and spice. And then once again tracing over my lines with the tan because it just also adds a nice stylistic pop. Then right here I'm writing highlights. Now my highlights page is essentially just a 1 line a day, so I write my favorite or best thing that happened that day. So I'm just quickly drawing out the Air Nations symbol. It's a little wonky, but you will pretend like that looks like a good circle and you will compliment me. No, I'm kidding. I know it's a little janky, but I tried to freehand it, which I should not have done because clearly the results were not exactly what I was going for. And then for each day, I just drew out a column in the tan and the brown. And I think the pages side by side just look really, really nice. As I wrap things up, I'm going to actually say goodbye in the voiceover because like I mentioned at the beginning, I'm still settling into a routine and getting everything set up, and I forgot to record an outro for both my reading journal and my bullet journal, so I'm going to just say goodbye here. So if you liked the video, please do give it a like, and if you want to see more bullet journal spreads or chat with me about books, maybe consider subscribing and also joining our Discord to see exclusive behind the scenes and early sneak peeks. And I'll see you in the next one. Toodles!